This is Love Notes, daily devotions from Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. Grace and peace to you. Well, in our previous devotion, in chapter 15, Eliphaz has spoken again. He has continued and upped the ante in his attack on Job, his instruction of Job. I'm sure he sees it as compassion, but it doesn't sound that way. Now Job answers. He's unswerved by Eliphaz's mean-spiritedness. Job says, I have heard many such things. In other words, I've heard that story all my life. I've heard what you're saying. I understand it. Miserable comforters you all are. Miserable comforters are you all. He confronts them with the truth, and they are. Have windy words no limit? He takes what Eliphaz started with in his rebuke of Job, and he uses the same metaphor. He says, windy words, no limit? I mean, how long can you spew this out? He's mocking Eliphaz. Or what provokes you that you keep on talking? I think this is an ancient poetic way of saying, shut up. You're not helping. I also could talk as you do. I know the tradition. I know the sages. I know what everybody's taught. Remember, he's a blameless man who has brought up his family in the faith. If you were in my place, I could talk as you do. I could join words together against you and shake my head at you. That's what Job sees them doing. Can you imagine trying to comfort somebody else, and that's what the person who's seeking comfort receives? Is words joined together, ad nauseum, and shaking head, rolling eyes. I could encourage you with my mouth, and the solace of my lips would assuage your pain. If I speak, my pain is not assuaged. And if I refrain, how much of it leaves me? None of it. In other words, Job is saying, whether I speak or I'm silent, the pain doesn't go away. The suffering stays. Neither makes a difference. So what is your point? He has nothing to gain either way. Everything stays the same. If we read this closely, I think in contrast to Eliphaz, who is bound in the past and all the teachings that have gone before, and thinking of the other ones who kept saying, well, another day's coming down the road, so just have hope. There are weaknesses in those two approaches. To just hold out for hope that tomorrow will be a better day, or to rest in the tradition that all the answers are sure and God will work it out, is to look back and to look forward. Job demands that we stay in the present moment, in the suffering, in the experience of the day. He does not want to dismiss one iota of the pain and the loss and the grief that has beset his life. He's not ready to do that. He wants to hear from God. He had hoped to hear that from his friends, but he has not. He's not bound to the past, and he's not full of wishes for the future. He lives in this moment. And that's a strong theme in the wisdom literature of the Old Testament and New. In verse 10, he says, they have gaped at me with their mouths. They have struck me insolently on the cheek. They massed themselves together against me. Now, it's not really true that this is what's happening, but that's what it feels like. The attacks, when they're verbal, are just as harsh. My mother used to counsel me that sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you. Words will never hurt you. I don't think she was completely right. She hoped that was true. Words sometimes hurt for a lifetime. These yammering ones are the wicked ones. They've revealed themselves to that. They are not good neighbors. And so in verse 15, he says, here's my response. I have sewed sackcloth upon my skin and have laid my strength in the dust. My face is red with weeping, and deep darkness is on my eyelids. Though there is no violence in my hands, and my prayer is pure. He's giving God all he has, and all he has right now is grief, pain, and loss. Can God accept that as an offering? I think so. Amen.